President Bola Tinubu has promised to come up with more robust and concrete policies towards the development of the education sector in Nigeria. Speaking through the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, at the 2024 World Teachers' Day celebration held in Abuja, the President also promised to give priority attention to capacity building for teachers in the country. Correspondent Kunujo completes the story.
Representatives of teachers in Nigeria, stakeholders and development partners in the education sector on Saturday converged on the Eagle Square in Abuja to celebrate Nigerian teachers on the occasion of the World Teachers' Day. The event, with the theme Valuing Teachers' Voices Towards a New Social Contract for Education, provide platform for teachers and policymakers to reflect on the current state and future of education in Nigeria. The President, who was represented by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, saluted the residents of teachers in the country and promised to initiate more policies towards upgrading their capacity.
There is no saying that the federal government of Nigeria presently places emphasis on the teaching profession as enshrined in the National Policy on Education, which states among other goals of teacher education to provide highly motivated, conscientious and efficient classroom teachers for all levels of our educational system, provide teachers with an intellectual and professional background adequate for their assignment and to make them adaptable to changing situations.
On his part, the Minister of Education, represented by the Minister of State for Education, Dr. Yusuf Sununu, restated the commitment of the ministry to empower and equip teachers for the task ahead, while the head of service of the Federation, he was in charge, called for more recognition for teachers in the country in order to motivate them to strive for excellence.
The Federal Ministry of Education is fully committed to ensuring that teachers are empowered and equipped for the tasks ahead. We are working diligently to improve teachers' training, professional development, and working conditions across the country. In addition, we are expanding access to new technology resources to ensure Nigerian teachers can deliver world-class education even in the most remote areas.
As we celebrate today, let us remember that teacher recognition must not be limited to this day alone, but should be an ongoing national priority. Let us continue to honor, reward, and invest in our teachers, for in their hands lies the future of our great nation.
Earlier, the National President, Nigerian Union of Teachers, Comrade Andu Amba, highlighted some of the challenges facing teachers in the country.
This global call to action and work with critical stakeholders to develop necessary legislative and policy framework towards ensuring effective implementation of crucial recommendations of United Nations Panel on Teaching Profession, welfare of teachers. It will be recalled that the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari used the 2020 World Teachers' Day to acknowledge the low status of teachers and announce the approval of some welfare packages for teachers with the aim of revitalizing and repositioning the education sector for greater service delivery in the country.
High point of the celebration was the presentation of awards to some state governors and presentation of cars to teachers with exceptional performance. From Abuja, Tunle Ojo, Galaxy TV.
Meanwhile, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has conferred the nation's second highest national honor, the Grand Commander of the Order of Nigeria, on the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas. In his 64th Independence Anniversary speech on the 1st of October, President Tinubu conferred the Commander of the Federal Republic of the Speaker and the Deputy Senate President. Bayo Ononuga, Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, in a statement released, said the development led to a debate in the House of Representatives on Wednesday. calling on the president to confer a higher honor on the speaker. Ononuga said President Tinubu was persuaded by the House of Representatives' position and has decided to remedy the historical error and oversight. Thus, he decided to upgrade the speaker to GCON from CFR in accordance with the National Order of Precedence. The Speaker, the Senate President, all the principal officers of the National Assembly and the Chief Justice of Nigeria will be formally decorated with their new honors later. Rejection of the National Honor Commander of the Federal Republic CFR by members of the 10th House of Representatives during the plenary has been described as misplaced priority considering mirage of socio-economic issues bedeviling the country presently. To Nigerians, the unholy rivalry that members of the House of Representatives are breeding up is uncalled for and may not be good for the nation's nascent democracy. Galaxy News correspondent Lebi Joseph has more in this report.
The protest against President Bola Tinubu's decision to confer a lower national honor, Commander of Federal Republic, on Speaker Tajuddin Abbas, claiming its inappropriate discrimination against the House of Representatives and the presentation of the chamber as inferior to the state, has been condemned in different quarters across the country.
Okay, so now that we are struggling to get out of insecurity in the land, now that we are struggling to see how things can be better for Nigerians, you are talking of national honors. Granted that the president in his wisdom decides to give national honors, he has to weigh the caliber of people who is giving the national honors to. That is always a tradition.
Come out, that's and they come out at the national level and voice out, bring something that at least the floor of the National Assembly. How many of them have come out and they, bring a suggestion, that can be of a benefit to the common Nigerians?
Deputy Chairman, House Committee on Media and Public Affairs sponsored the motion, claimed that the National Honors Act of 1964 does not prescribe the conferment of specific honors for certain individuals, is far from what the people of the country are going through presently.
The Senate is the upper chamber of the National Assembly. The House of Representatives is the lower chambers. They are not on the same pedestal. So the Senate, the House of Representatives cannot seek to equate itself with the Senate. The Senate is seen as the upper arm. Granted that in the process of making law, the two arms will have to collaborate, the law will have to pass through the two arms or chambers before it can become law.
Fundamentals of the National Assembly, which is representation of the people, should be the concern of the lawmakers and not this frivolous, egocentric aggrandizement. From Lagos, this is Lebi Joseph reporting for Galaxy TV News.
The Action People's Party has been declared to have won 22 out of the 23 council areas in Saturday's local government election in Rivers State. This is announced by the chairman, Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, Honorable Justice Adolphus, announced the results from the council areas. Justice Enebeli said it was done after a painstaking collation.
After painstaking collation of results at the close of poll by our team of officials regarding the local government council elections conducted this day, the 5th of October 2024, the following candidates, having scored majority of lawful or valid votes cast in 2/3 of the respective wards comprising their respective local government areas of Rivers State, are hereby returned as elected chairmen or chairwomen.
He also said that the 23rd council areas will be announced after the completion of the process.
Details or the statistics of the respective scores shall be published in RISEC website and the media, and they will be made available to the public and all contestants. The election results for councillorship election into 319 words spread across the 23 local government areas of Rivers State shall be declared subsequently and soonest, together with that of HA that has been stood down.
Also, Chairman of the Action People's Party in River State, Honorable Sonny Wokikuru, has described the local government election in his Falga Ward 8 Unit 14 as being peaceful. The Rivers APP chairman made this known while speaking with journalists after voting at his polling unit. According to him, the local government election countered those against the democratic settings in the state.
Very peaceful. Like you see, everywhere is calm. Contrary to speculations and counter orders from people who are very undemocratic in nature and autocratic in nature. It's amazing the way Rivers will turn out for this election. It simply means that this election is important to them, and it's a very big sign that people are very determined to write the narrative of where one or two people will feel that they own Rivers State. So I want to voted.
The chairmanship candidate of the Port Harcourt local government area under the Action People's Party, Honorable Ichemati Ezubunwo, has described the local government election in River State as seamless. Honorable Ichemati, who is the caretaker chairman of Falga, made this known after casting his vote at his ward 18 Unit 4 polling unit in Port Harcourt, the River State capital. According to the chairmanship candidate, the local government election is the best in the history of the state.
The conduct of the election was very fair, seamless, and peaceful. And I can state authoritatively and categorically that in the history of River State, this is the best election so far to be conducted. And I want to thank RISEC for such unprecedented feat that they've been able to achieve, even without security backing from the police. Materials arrived timely, and after sorting, it was also discovered that materials were complete. There was no missing material.
Meanwhile, explosion has occurred in buildings with property shattered in the early hours of Saturday as explosives suspected to be dynamite shattered the Secretariat of the All Progressive Congress along Abba Road in Port Harcourt, River State capital, and Obio Akpo local government. The explosion brought down the gate of the Secretariat as doors, windows and other properties were destroyed as a result of the explosion, which also left the security building on fire. This incident is before the River State Independent National Electoral Commission commenced the local government elections. Confirming the incident, the River State Police Command spokesperson Grace Iwige Koko, in a statement, said the first explosion was reported at 3 a.m. with 3 Toyota Hilux vans speeding away and causing significant damage, destroying the gate and shattering windows, which left the security building set ablaze. A second explosion was said to have occurred at Obio Akpo local council secretariat around 3:30 a.m. when eyewitnesses reported a black Toyota Hilux and Sienna minivan passed the secretariat and threw an object suspected to be dynamite. You're still on to Galaxy Primetime News, and coming up next. The federal government and the Nigerian Governors Forum are advised to intervene in the non-payment of pension by some governors in Nigeria. These and more we come to shortly. Do stay with us. We're glad to have you back. Now, for more updates and latest news, please visit our website www.galaxytvonline.com. Connect to us on our X handle at Galaxy TV. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Galaxy TV News. You can also follow and interact with us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Galaxy TV. Remember to follow and tag us on our Instagram page at Galaxy TV. Our social media platforms are user-friendly and can always accommodate your live updates and comment, as you can easily scan our IG QR code. There were confusion on Saturday, which is today, in Makurdi, the capital city of Benue State, as voters searched endlessly for where to cast their vote in the ongoing local government election. It was observed that between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. there was no sign of electoral materials in some polling units in Nolj Office, Angpa Quarters, Wadata, Modern Market, North Bank, and Nepa polling along Utupo Road and Barracks Road. In some of other polling units visited, there were no electoral officers or election materials, such as voters claimed that they were asked to move to the ward headquarters to exercise the franchise. At exactly 1:12 p.m., when our correspondent was there, the Nog polling unit, the presiding officer, Inekelo Ako, said he resumed at the polling unit around 7:30 a.m. waiting for materials, but up to 1:12 p.m. he was yet to get any information. Some voters who spoke to newsmen at Tiny, Giedo and Aganto Gate ward collation centers expressed concern about what they described as a centralization of voting. Meanwhile, the chairman of the State Independent Electoral Commission, Richard Tomboil, said elections were going on in all polling units across the state. The conduct of elections for chairman and councillors at the local government areas today were marred with voter apathy as many residents shunned the exercise. This could be alluded to poor start as the distribution of ballot materials scheduled for 10 a.m. this morning began by 12 p.m. this afternoon and in some collation centers at 2 p.m. The exercise was, however, peaceful with security agencies on ground. Some voters and agents at polling centers described the process as hitch-free and peaceful.
In terms of distribution of materials, everything went well because every political party has one political agent party at the polling unit. So they all assemble here. When they distribute, everybody took to their own polling unit. So everything went well with the security and the whole agent of political parties.
And we believe everything is going successful. Our election is free and fair election. As you can see, we are on the process. We don't have much delay.
Meanwhile, Chairman of House Committee on Elections and Civil Societies said he mostly concerned about the hitch-free process following the billions of naira the governors put in for the conduct of the election.
My jurisdiction is to see what His Excellency has done for the BSEC. They should do all necessary things to make sure that the election is free, fair and credible. A winner must emerge and a winner must be declared.
The chairman, Benue State Independent Electoral Commission, and the police commissioner emphasized the importance of security agencies in the peaceful conduct of the election.
We met with the heads of security agencies in Benue State, and they are synergizing and collaborating with us. They have given us their men to help us take care of that.
Almost everywhere I went to, there's massive deployment of security agencies to cover the election, and the exercise, the way I saw it, very peaceful. There's no any cause for alarm.
The Nigeria Police Force has expressed concern with the recent statement made by the Governor of Rivers State, His Excellency Siminalayi Fubara, in which several unfounded allegations were leveled against the Office of the Inspector General of Police and the Nigeria Police Force. The police, in a statement issued and signed by the Force Public Relations Officer Muyiwa Adejobi, maintained that there is a subsisting Federal High Court order barring the Nigeria Police Force from participating in the Rivers State elections, adding that this order was duly served on both the NPF and the Rivers State government. It noted that as a law-abiding institution, the IGP instructed the Commissioner of Police in Rivers State to strictly adhere to its court order by refraining from any direct involvement in the election process. Reacting to the claim by Governor Fubara in the evening of 3rd October 2024, the Commissioner of Police Rivers State received reports that policemen from Rivers State Government House have been deployed to the office of Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission to aid the conduct of the election. The statement added that this report was also relayed to the Inspector General of Police, who gave clearance to the Commissioner of Police to withdraw the policemen from the Government House and replace with policemen from the Command Operations Department. Police in Ogun State have buried a serial killer and armed robber who specialized in robbing and killing of young girls after raping them. Philip Ogunaike, a 29-year-old young man in Abeokuta, Ogun State, has been arrested by men of the Ogun State Police Command after he killed 3 young girls in similar circumstances. While leading men of the Ogun State Police Command to spots where the suspect dumped his victims, the Commissioner of Police Ogun State Command said the suspect is responsible for some of the cases of missing persons in Abeokuta Metropolis. He said the suspect usually lures young girls to isolated areas, kidnap them, then demand for ransom from their families, rape them, and later kill them.
Creating an environment where we include all stakeholders, particularly the mosque, the churches, our religious leaders, our traditional leaders, to do more of sensitization. Because if a 29-year-old person can be so heartless to carry out such killings, it is actually a disturbing trend. And unfortunately, these victims are all innocent kids.
The Commissioner also appealed to parents to always be security conscious and train their children to always be alert and avoid going out with strangers. The suspect, on his part, confessed to being a member of a secret cult and that his accomplice is currently at large.
Because of the bad gang that we used to join, that is what used to lead us to. That's what lead us to those things. Because I know if I had not joined by gang and I had not used to follow those people that used to do bad things, I know that I may not be able to do all these things. If they want to give us judgment, they should just give us. They should go and kill us, because they are the one that lead me to that stupid things.
The police said the suspects will be arraigned in court after they have concluded their investigation. The Ondo State Security Network Amotekun Corps has arrested a family, including a father, mother and children, who specialize in housebreaking and stealing. The commander of the security network, Adetunji Adeleye, said 70 people, including the family, were arrested for various offenses of stealing, kidnapping, violation of anti-grazing law and robbery. Adeleye says the family arrested by the Corps included 3 teenagers and their parent, who specialize in breaking up houses and stealing household items. Out of the 70 arrested, he said 20 were paraded for various offenses. Another suspect, a 28-year-old Usman Abubakar, was arrested in Igboba, Owo local government area of the state for kidnapping. Adeleye said the suspect confirmed collecting 2 million naira from the victims.
We arrested about 68 criminals, out of which we are parading only 20. We equally have 3 minors which belong to a family of husband and wife and children that specializes in breaking of houses and stealing. The armored rangers had penetrated the forest, and substantially within the week under review.
A 30-year-old man, Motunrayo Olaniyi, has allegedly stabbed his newlywed wife Olajumoke to death at Amazing Grace Estate Edepe in the Ikorodu area of Lagos State. The incident was said to have occurred on Friday after a heated argument between the couple. The Lagos State Police Command, while confirming the incident in a statement by its spokesperson Benjamin Hundeyin on Saturday, stated that Motunrayo stabbed the 25-year-old wife multiple times during the altercation, locked her in the room and set it on fire. He added that the suspect also inflicted wounds on himself after committing the act. A team of policemen from the Ikorodu division who arrived at the scene were however extinguished the fire and after that discovered Olajumoke's lifeless body with abdominal wounds. The police spokesperson further stated that Olaniyi was rescued and rushed to a nearby hospital where he was treated and discharged before being taken into police custody. According to him, a preliminary investigation later revealed that the suspect stabbed his wife during the altercation and inflicted minor wounds on himself. The federal government and the Nigerian Governors Forum have been advised to intervene in the persistent non-payment of monthly pension by some governors in Nigeria. The National President of Nigeria Union of Pensioners, Comrade Godwin Abumisi, who made the appeal in his State of the Nation address to commemorate the 2024 Pensioners Day in Abuja. Correspondent Kulujo reports that Comrade Abumisi bemoaned what he called the pathetic and heartbreaking situation of pensioners in the state and local government across the country, saying a very significant number of pensioners in state have died without enjoying the fruit of their labor as a result of non-payment of their monthly pensions for many years and total denial of their gratuities.
Cross-board, in accordance with the provisions of the 1999 Nigeria Constitution, the contributory pensioners are exempted from these benefits and left to their fate. Yet, both the pensioners under the contributory pension scheme and that of the defined benefit scheme face the same adverse market conditions and inflation.
He called on President Bola Tinubu and the Nigerian Governors Forum to put this matter as one of the priority of the government to release bailout funds to the state government to settle all the outstanding pension accrued to pensioners across the country.
We also call on the federal government to address debating unemployment challenges as the Nigerian youth, including the pensioners' children who have been painstakingly trained by their parents but with no gainful employment, to complement the efforts of their parents by providing for them at their old age. Rather, they are still dependent on their aged and helpless parents for their survival.
You're still on to Galaxy Primetime News. We'll quickly take a break, and when we return, the news continues. To stay with us. Well, glad to have you back now to carry the rest of the stories. President Bola Tinubu's revelation of the plan for a national youth conference, which is set to take place over 30 days, seems laudable if this can be done differently from past confab that have been convocated in the past. This move could outline a broader full emancipation of the Nigerian youth from the oblivion to greatness. Galaxy News correspondent Lebby Joseph has more in this report.
I am pleased to announce the gathering of a national youth conference. This conference will be a platform to address the diverse challenges and opportunities confronting our young people, who constitute more than 60% of our population. It will provoke meaningful dialogue and empower our young people to participate actively in nation building.
One key issue that borders the progression of the Nigerian youth in President Tinubu's national address to mark Nigeria's 64th independence anniversary was the proposed conference. The confab aims to tackle key issues such as education, employment, innovation, and security, and as a platform for young people to contribute to national discussions.
It's something that is commendable. It is part of what the government can do to enable the youth to participate in act of governance.
The youth is not a bad thing, but since this government came into power in May 2023, there has been at least 3 protests. For a country who says that they don't have money, you know, the presidency keeps saying that, you know, we need to endure, we are trying to sanitize the system. I don't think that Nigeria, if it is true that we are as impoverished as the presidency claims that we are, we shouldn't be able to afford a confab.
Unemployment is a major problem facing Nigerian youth, which culminated into increased militancy, violent crimes, kidnappings, and social delinquency. Youth unemployment is devastating to both the individual and the society as a whole, both psychologically and economically.
Some have argued started intensifying deeply since the days of SAP, the Structural Adjustment Program, when the World Bank and the IMF started advising government to stop investing, public investment in basic services, so that the education subsidy started going, and then education started becoming commercialized, and then water started disappearing on our streets, and then healthcare started becoming highly commercialized, and on and on and on. So that government started reducing investment in basic services, and today Government investment is almost totally gone in many of these services.
The youth that I am part of, that is my constituency, we don't want a confab. We just want our naira to have value. We want that if we sell one and we get two, let's not get to the market and find that what was 2 yesterday is actually 4. The truth is, this is not the first time. There are lots of panels, lots of committees, lots of confabs, and nothing has been done, both by previous governments and this present one.
Nigeria youth face multiple challenges, including poverty, unemployment, and underdevelopment and underemployment, limited educational opportunities, and health challenges. From Lagos, this is Lebi Joseph reporting for Galaxy TV News.
The Center for Reform and Advocacy asked the Legal Practitioners Disciplinary Committee to punish some lawyers over their incident attacks on the country's judiciary. This is as the group warned a member of the Federal House of Representatives, Honorable Ikenga Ukuchinyere, and Professor Chidi Odinkalu to desist from their uncomplimentary remarks against judicial officers in the country. Correspondent Kuliojo reports that as a body for reform and advocacy, the group said it has looked into the reasons being advanced by some of these lawyers and individuals as basis to launch the attacks and have come to the conclusion that the attacks are needless, baseless and unwarranted.
Regrettably, these incessant attacks on the Nigerian judiciary are being championed by so many lawyers. These lawyers descend heavily on judges and attack their character after losing cases in court. This professional conduct must. The attacks on the judiciary by Professor Chidi Odinkalu and Honorable Ikenga Ugochinyere are uncalled for. They should desist from it, as they are not only unprofessional but also criminal.
Barrister Agu contended that this harmful practice undermines the very foundation of justice system, adding that it has become imperative that people recognize the judiciary's role as the guardian of justice and the protector of our constitutional rights.
The judges do not assign cases to themselves. It is the administrative function of the chief judge, and that is why cases similar in nature are usually assigned to a particular judge or judges to avoid conflicting decisions. For instance, most of the cases at the Federal High Court here in respect of Edo and River States were assigned to 2 judges despite being vacation matters. Emotions can run high when we lose our cases in court, but let us keep calm, consult our lawyers to understand the judgment and exercise our constitutional right to appeal to a higher court.
In view of the foregoing, the Centre emphasized the need for collective action to safeguard the independence and integrity of the judiciary, warning that if we fail to address these attacks, we risk plunging our nation into chaos, anarchy and lawlessness. A murder suspect, Michael, accused of killing one Halimat Hassan, whose body was not found, has been docked on Wednesday. He was arraigned before Justice Oyedamola Ogala of the Lagos State High Court, Ikeja. The defendant was charged to court following a 1-count charge of murder by the Lagos State government. According to the State Counsel, A.O. Aziz, the defendant committed the offense contrary to Section 223 of the Criminal Laws Cap, C-17 Volume 3 Law of Lagos State 2015. Subsequently, Justice Ogala adjourned the matter till October 30th for commencement of trial. Kaduna State Governor Ubasani has unveiled 3 strategic health policy documents and a public health law that will positively impact and boost the health and lives of all citizens in the state. According to the government, the health policy document and law will strengthen health, human resource and epidemic preparedness and response in the health sector. Besides, the governor also commissioned and distributed 48 operational vehicles and motorcycles to enable effective community tuberculosis and HIV case finding in the state. Speaking at the unveiling ceremony in Kaduna, the governor said the 3 strategic health policy documents and a public health law will positively impact the health and lives of all citizens of Kaduna State.
Our mobile integrated outreaches provides reproductive health care, immunization services, VAT registration, nutritional education, screening of diseases such as TB and HIV, in addition to providing planning services. These outreaches enable our citizens in rural and hard-to-reach communities to also have access to essential qualitative health services.
Tuberculosis and leprosy remain a significant health concern in our state, affecting the lives of many citizens, particularly in hard-to-reach and vulnerable communities. Today's event represents our commitment to achieving a healthier Kaduna State and reducing the burden of diseases among our children. They will guide our actions, ensuring that we implement best practices, mobilize resources effectively, and strengthen partnership for better health outcomes.
And I'll move over to the foreign desk for more news. Hello and welcome to Foreign News. A Hamas leader, his wife and their 2 daughters have been killed in an Israeli strike on northern Lebanon. The Palestinian armed group says as Israeli air raids continue against the Lebanese armed group Hezbollah in the southern suburb of Beirut. Commander Saeed Attallah Ali and his family were killed on Saturday in the Zionist bombardment of his house in the Badawi camp near the northern city of Tripoli. The first time the area had been hit since the start of the Gaza war nearly a year ago. Ali has been identified as the leader of Hamas' armed wing, the Qassam's brigades. Israel has repeatedly targeted Hamas officials in Lebanon in recent weeks, killing several of the most senior leaders of the group. Hamas said 18 of its senior commanders have been killed in recent weeks. Israel's military did not immediately comment on the strike near the port city of Tripoli. Israel has been sharply expanding its attacks on Lebanon after nearly a year of exchanging fire with Hezbollah. The U.S. military says it has launched strikes on the Iranian-backed Houthi group in Yemen, hitting 15 targets. The Pentagon said it used aircraft and warships to launch the attacks in order to protect freedom of navigation. Several explosions were reported in some of Yemen's main cities, including the capital Sana'a. Since November, the Houthis have launched attacks on around 100 ships in the Red Sea, sinking 2 vessels. The rebel group says the attack a retaliation for Israel's military campaign in Gaza. Central Command, which oversees U.S. military operations in the Middle East, said the attacks targeted weapon systems, bases and other equipment belonging to the Houthis. On Monday, the Houthis said they had shot down a U.S.-made MQ-9 Reaper drone over Yemen. The U.S. military acknowledged losing an unmanned aircraft. Last week, the Pentagon said the Houthis had launched a complex attack on U.S. Navy ships in the region, though all the weapons launched were shot down, as well as the attacks on ships in the Red Sea. 6 Pakistani soldiers and at least 8 rebels have been killed in 2 clashes in the restive northwest, the military says. Lieutenant Colonel Mohammed Ali Shaukat was among the 6 soldiers killed in overnight fighting in the North Waziristan district of Khyber province, along with 6 rebels. Security forces of Pakistan are determined to wipe out the menace of terrorism, and such sacrifices of the brave soldiers further strengthen their resolve. Inter-Services Public Relations said. The army said that in a separate operation it killed 2 rebels in Swat, another district in Khyber. One of them was said to have been involved in an attack on a convoy of foreign ambassadors in the area this month. The Ministry of Interior reported that in 2023 alone, 930 people, primarily security personnel, lost their lives to acts of terrorism and about 2,000 were injured. In March, an armed group attacked a military post in North Waziristan using a vehicle laden with explosives as well as suicide vest, killing 7 security force members. And still on foreign news, music icon Dolly Parton has announced she will make a personal donation of $1 million towards disaster recovery efforts in the wake of Hurricane Helene. Speaking at an event in her home state of Tennessee, the 78-year-old said the money would come from her bank account. Parton's local commercial ventures, including the Nollywood Amusement Park, would also donate the same amount to the Mountain Ways Foundation, which is aiding those affected by flooding in the region. At least 225 people have died due to Helene, which tore through the southeast U.S. in late September. Roads, bridges and railway tracks were washed away or blocked by debris, while landslides left houses buried in rocks and earth as high as their upper story. Helene is the deadliest mainland storm since Katrina in 2005, making landfall as a Category 4 hurricane. Helene damaged structures, caused flash flooding and knocked out power to millions of homes. Over 500,000 properties remain without electricity as of Saturday. The U.S. government has said the clean-up effort could take years. Flash floods and landslides in central Bosnia-Herzegovina have left at least 16 people dead, with towns and villages cut off, and reports in some places of homes being almost submerged. Some of the worst scenes were in the area around Jablonka, a town on the main route between the cities of Mostar and the capital Sarajevo, about 70 kilometers to the northeast. A number of other people have been reported missing and a state of emergency has been declared. Development Minister Borja Mijatovic said the country had witnessed a terrible disaster and appealed for calm. Officials from the Herzegovina Neretva canton said 13 deaths have been confirmed in the area rather than 16 as earlier reported. In the town of Foknica, 3 other deaths were confirmed. Search and rescue work continues, with 10 people still unaccounted for in Herzegovina Neretva. River burst their banks after an overnight storm, and aerial photos show many towns and villages left inundated. Meanwhile, 20 kilometers to the west of the capital, around Kizeljak, a torrent of water flooded the streets, leaving cars submerged. And finally, on foreign news, a murder investigation is underway after a man died following an incident in Clover Hill Prison in Dublin. Emergency services were alerted to the incident at about 5:30 BST on Saturday. The man, who was in his 40s, received treatment at the scene but was pronounced dead a short time later. It is understood he was from Ballyfemot in West Dublin and was known to Gadai for involvement in serious and organized crimes. A second inmate is being treated for injuries which have been described as non-life-threatening, RTE has reported. Gadai said they are investigating all circumstances surrounding the death, and the scene has been preserved for full forensic and technical examination. The coroner has been notified and the services of the state pathologist have been requested. The prison service expressed its condolences and said that the deaths will be investigated by the Office of the Inspector of Prisons. And that's all we have on the foreign news.